Good morning. This is a beautiful morning. It's about 6 weeks now, just over, since the end of the challenge. But sadly, my challenge ended after the first 3 days. I think several things just conspired against me. The weather, and perhaps my decision making, to be fair. But whatever, I came home on Sunday afternoon. I'm okay with that. I was a bit frustrated, obviously. It would have been good to get my tents done. And it was annoying that it was something I didn't have control over, but perhaps I could have made different decisions. But a lot of that was in the planning. I hate setting off with a wet tent. I despise it. And my only real option for accommodation at the start point I had chosen for me is camping. The hotel is cost prohibitive, which is a shame. But camping, you have the risk of a wet tent in the morning, and I hate it. It's fine once you're on the way, you accept it. Kind of, it's part of what you're doing. But to set off with a wet tent, it's just so annoying. So if I am starting somewhere that only takes me 3 or 4 hours to get to from home, I know I'm very lucky, I tend to arrive at lunchtime and start walking. That is the unfortunate part, because if I had camped the night before, I could have set off 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the morning and been finished at tea time. I would have got quite a lot of the walking done before it got hot. Could have just taken my time and then had a nice long evening to recover, and perhaps get up a reasonable time the following day and repeat getting most of the walking done before the heat. But it wasn't to be. It's not what we did. Laura, bless her, another solo challenger and a good friend, was persuaded not to go Glenlicht but to walk my route because there was slightly more shade. And finishing my planned point, which we did more or less, would mean she didn't get too far behind on the first day, because she wasn't going to make it to her, probably wasn't going to make it to her planned stop. Possibly. So we finished about 9ish. Poor Laura had an incident in the bog not far before camp, which was a bit of a shame, but she was unhurt. We had a good night. It was a good spot. We had sun in the evening and sun in the morning, so the tents were more or less dry before we set off. But obviously we didn't set off at crack of dawn. It's probably around 9ish, I can't remember. And there is no shade. We had 18 kilometres with no shade, and the sun was relentless, absolutely relentless. We did manage to get some water eventually, but all the side streams were very dry, either very dry or completely inaccessible. The one or two that had water. Towards the end of the day, we were joined by Lewis, who I have to say was such good company. Lovely young man, credit to his parents. You'll hate that. He's not a little boy. He's a grown-up. But he was such good company. And super kind. Lovely guy. And he enjoyed the company. I think he'd been on his own and had a tough day, mainly due to the heat. He was pleased to have some company. So it worked well for all of us. We did struggle a wee bit to get into camp, but we got there. But Laura was very unwell in the evening, and I was just exhausted. And it was just the heat. So we set off the next day. Laura was feeling okay initially, but after about an hour, again the heat started getting to us both. The forest track is a little relentless. Plenty of shade, no water, but we were okay for water at that point. A lack of benches. Nowhere to sit. Goodness, we had to go on the floor. And we just made slow progress. We eventually got to a picnic area, had benches to sit. Unfortunately no shade. The shady benches were taken. Laura got some water from some French people she struck up conversation with, which is handy. But things were getting so difficult, and I was already thinking ahead. I had 30 kilometres planned the next day, and I think about 25 the day after that, followed by 16. Theoretically there was room for juggling. I could have stopped in Drumnadrochit and taken the ferry the next morning, but the following day was awkward to shorten. The day after that was awkward to shorten because of where the hills were, and I'm not one for high camps. I'm not, to be honest. They would have been fine, but you don't know that. And I always tend to err on the side of caution. Anyway, part way into camp, a lovely French couple went past us in their motorhome. We only had about 5k to go. Laura was really flagging, and yeah, I wasn't enjoying myself. So we took the lift, got into camp, and had a serious discussion, heart to heart. I now had another 5k to make up. That was a nuisance and really wasn't going to help. The heat was just, it was going nowhere. And a decision was made. Of course, no sooner did we get home the next couple of days, certainly at home it seemed cooler. I don't know what it was like where I would have been. Funnily enough, I didn't look. I didn't want to know. With hindsight, should I have continued? I could have. But I think I would have been a statistic, and I don't want that. There was no need. I was already feeling really rough. Did I want to get into the middle of Marmalia and need to call out a mountain rescue because I was ill? No, that would be silly. That would be irresponsible, reckless, in my opinion. I'm a grown-up. And to me, the sensible thing was to make the call before I became ill. So that's what I did. Maybe I should have continued, but that's not the decision I made. And it was my decision to make. And I think I was right. The question is, of course, do I go again? Initially the answer was no. What's the point? I wasn't sure I was enjoying it anymore. Who cares? It's just a number. Who cares if I make 10 or not? Ugh. 10 is just a number. But it'll annoy me in the end. It'll keep me awake at night. Just one more, Louise. Why didn't you just do one more? Not to mention all the kit that I have. A lot of it seems to be challenge specific. We do other stuff, but not using my challenge gear. So that would be silly too. So I started looking at routes. I've roughed a couple out. I may have made tentative bookings that can be cancelled for free if unrequired, which is fine. I'm still not convinced. But I do think I will give myself a hard time if I don't. So I need to find a route that is interesting, not necessarily difficult, needs to be manageable, needs to be enjoyable. Lots of food, that would be good. So that I don't have to carry food. I don't know. No decisions are made yet. But I suppose there's a good possibility. We'll see. Meanwhile, it's a lovely day.